What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining us. In this week's episode, we're going to find out exactly what has happened to this puppy and why we had to pull it out. Let's do it. Oil cooler's draining, taking the front end off. We can start unbolting everything, but I think I'm gonna wait till the morning, let everything charge up, loosen these cables, get this harness out the way, take the harness that side, and then just gut it down, start loosening up everything. It's a big job, someone's got to do it. So this is what came out the oil cooler, not a speckage. That's encouraging. You know, when you take some oil out and you're busy with your car, you need to smell everything. Oh, it smells so good. The smell of oil and fuel. Alright, so I worked last night to get pretty much most of the front end off. And what I'm going to do now is, using that container, I am going to drain the oil. So I've just cleaned the container. This is the oil that came out of the oil cooler. I've got the oil cooler on the shelf here. I expected more contaminants in the oil cooler, and there was nothing. First port of call is to take the sump plug out, drain the oil, see what the oil's like, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to drop the subframe down, suspend the engine, pull the sump off, have a look. If I can see something is really bad and something has failed, then we'll pull the motor. If it is something I can fix without pulling the motor, that will be a huge bonus. Power steering is loose. That's good. Engine mounts are loose. Loosening the anti-roll bar. Need to loosen the steering rack. That should give us enough space. So the subframe is dropped. So before I have a gander, what is going on underneath? Look at this. Wow. But this black, this could be the magnesium from the oil pump. It's either that or it's rubber. Definitely gonna have to go and dig up what's going on in the crankcase. Absolutely nothing wrong. All turns fine, no damage on here, no damage in the oil pump. What? Let's take the oil out of the sump and see what is in here. It's looking more and more like we might get lucky here. It's amazing how you don't trust yourself, but there's so much money that's gone into this engine. I think there is nothing wrong with this motor. This darkness we are seeing in the oil is from the ALP Ultra Torque Lube, because I see there's still some on the big ends and the mains, and it's the same color as this. So almost with any tiny little pieces of anything, it almost creates perception and causes a false alarm. I'm hoping that there's nothing wrong. I cannot find anything wrong. It will be a massive win. Alright, so this is number 6 big end bearing. I pulled out number 2. It looked pretty much exactly the same. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. This is the thrust bearing of the one of the mains. It's got a bit of a lip here, a little bit of wear on the thrust, but not much. Nothing really. There was a little swirl there, swarf, I guess. That's from the bearing kind of coming together here, so that looks fine. If you want to see some more of this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Just click on the subscribe button, hit the bell, and you're good to go. This is the filter reservoir jobby. This is where the big alarm bells went off. So you can see these little shiny things, they're still there. But again, it's not too much, you know? This is the filter, the second filter, right? There's tiny pieces there. Had a look at the gudgeon pin. Gudgeon pins, all of them. Okay, you can't see, but basically, they skitterblink. There's no burn marks, there's no telltale signs, no smoking gun. Everything looks good. There's the right amount of play on everything. Turns over fine. In the end, I still wasn't sure. I saw there were some small marks on the bearings, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I consulted a couple of friends. One, Robert, who is the professional engine builder, and the other was Sean Gradwell from KWT Engineering in King Williamstown. So over much discussion, I decided that it's just not safe to try and continue and run the motor like that. There obviously is some binding, and it could potentially cause massive failure and a spun bearing. So when I measured the clearances, it looks like it is 0.025 millimeters out between the first main bearing and the rear main bearing, but I don't have the tools to measure this, and it is pretty much just from checking with the plastic gauge. Alright, so there she is in all her glory. We had to pull it out, and in the end, as you could see, the crank was rubbing up on the main bearings. Why is that? Well, what I think has happened is through the machining process, when we re-sleeved the block is actually bananaed over its length. And if you look at the difference in the tolerances, which I did, the clearance between the bearings, for some reason now it is the difference is 0.02 or 0.25. So basically it's 0.25 out over its length. That's kind of what I can take from it. So what are we going to do now? Well, as you can see, I'm currently moving at the moment, and I've got stuff everywhere. This is the weekend before I pack up. You can see all my Makita stuff. What a brand. Anyway, this is the weekend before I move location. So this will be the actual last episode filmed here in this location. It's a bit sad. Life goes on. I need to move premises. That's a very long story, but we carry on. And ultimately, we're going to keep pushing. We've got big plans. So I have not stripped it now. What I'm going to do is when I'm at the new place, I'm going to... My arm's going dead. When I'm at the new place, I'm going to get it up on the jack stand, and then pull the head off and pull all the unnecessary stuff off. From there, I'm going to send the sub-assembly, excluding the clutch, to KWT Engineering. That's Sean Gradwell. He's helped me a lot in this build. I mentioned him in the last episode, but he is going to help me figure out what is going on with that. They've got a machine shop, make any changes. They build hundreds of these, so they know these motors really well. I, at the moment, just do not have the time between the move and a whole bunch of other stuff happening. I just can't get it done. So this is where we are. Engine is out. We're going to button up the front for the move to the new location, and we're taking the motor as it is, and then when it gets there, we are basically going to strip it there. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for joining us on this ride. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the support. Please continue to support us. I need to get this thing on the track this year, and I want to do a race. I want to do a race with it as soon as possible. So it's really important to me we get this puppy on the track, but we are so close. We're so close. So thanks for watching. Hopefully in the next one we'll be putting this thing together and testing it. We'll catch you then. See ya.